Hey guys, today we're going to talk about finding the length of a line segment and also finding the midpoint of a line segment. Before we begin, we just got to think back to who this guy is. That's right, it's Pythagoras. What did Pythagoras tell us? Well, through his investigations with right triangles, he discerned that the hypotenuse, the longest side of a right triangle, opposite the 90-degree angle, the square of this side, so in other words, the area of C, is equal to the area of the B side squared, so that area in there, plus this area here, A squared. So in other words, C squared equals B squared plus A squared. Using this information, we can easily determine a formula for finding the length of a line segment. Okay, quick example here, back to Pythagoras' theorem. If we've got side lengths of 4 and 3 with our right angle in here, we can quickly find out that this side will be 5, given that 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, 16 plus 9 is 25, square root of 25 equals 5. Okay, let's move on. Alright, how would we use Pythagoras' theorem to help us find the distance between two coordinate points on a Cartesian plane? Looking here, we've got 1 and 5, so x1, y1, and 5 and 8, and I'm going to call this x2, y2. It's really important to keep these in order, which you'll find out, the reason for which you'll find out soon. Let's blow this up a little bit more. Okay, 1 and 5, 5 and 8. Probably the most direct way to do this, to solve this, is just to plot your points. So 1 and 5 gives me a point about there. 5 and 8 gives me a point right up here, just off the line there. Okay, if I was to draw a line between these, let's just change the colour, and it's going to be a bit messy, but if I drew a line there, this would be C, because my right angle will be formed down here. So A and B are my knowns. I know what these are because I know what the coordinates are. Looking back up here, 1 and 5 tells me the x and the y coordinate for this point here. 5 and 8 tells me the coordinates for this point here. Knowing that this is 5, x equals 5, tells me that x equals 5 here. And we can just look down here and confirm that. So the length of this line, quite obviously, is 5 minus 1 is 4. And I can tell that just by counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise, y2 up here is 8. Look on the y-axis. The other y point is 5 over here. And the difference between 8 and 5 is 3. Or I can just count 1, 2, 3. And I can quickly tell the distances there. Let's just zoom right back out there. Okay. Pythagoras' theorem states, let me just change colours, that c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Written another way, c equals root or square root a squared plus b squared. Now just remember here that taking the square of a number, squaring a number, is the opposite of finding the square root. So that in effect is saying the same thing. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. C just equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. Now, just a minute ago, we found out, or we reasoned, that a squared is the difference in the the x-axis points. So in other words, c equals square root x2 minus x1. Now don't freak out. Draw my 1 back there. Don't freak out. This is just the difference in these x points. Oops. Let me go back in there. Okay. I might just resize that a bit as well. Okay. So the difference in the x points plus b squared is just the difference in the y-axis points. So let me just put y2, which is the second y point, minus y1, the first, and I'm going to square it. just like in the original Pythagoras equation. Okay, so let's work this out. Bring that down a bit. C equals the second x point, so x2, which is 5, x1 is 1, so 5 and 1, and 8 and 5. 5 and 1 for my x points, so 5 minus 1, remember to square it, plus the difference in the y points, which was 8 and 5. I'm going to square that. Bring that in. C equals the difference in 5 and 1 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So that's going to equal square root 16 plus the difference in 8 and 5 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Alright, so we can see where this is going. Oh, it's getting harder to zoom in now. Okay, C equals root 25, and the discerning viewer could quickly tell me that 5 squared is 25, so the answer is 5. Let's ring that for effect. Your answer there is 5. This is the end of part 1.